I'm going to state this plainly so you can't possibly misunderstand me when I say this. When I started making these videos, I made a sort of promise to myself that I wouldn't just be shouting all the time like so many other video game reviewers, and that I'd save my anger and my rage for when a target really deserved it. This target deserves it because it's a piece of fucking shit. It's not just that the premise is cowardly, despicable, and disgusting. It's not that just the fact that I think that the protagonist deserves to rot in hell, getting fucked in the eye by pineapple dick demons from now until the end of time. It's not just the fact that I think that the developers of this game are deliberately trying to be trolls who are hiding behind the First Amendment in a pitiful attempt to piss people off, trying to sell a game on controversy rather than actually the merits of it being a good game. Oh no, it's not just all of that. It's the fact that even if I could ignore all of the moral implications, even if I could completely disregard how disgusting and despicable I think the mere premise and plot of this game is, the game on its own merits, just as a video game itself, does not have a reason to exist, because it plain and simply sucks! Let me start with the controls. Now, the developers were so nice to give you the option of using both normal computer controls or a gamepad. Even so, it's very hard to move around, and even harder still to ease into the gameplay. Not to mention the fact that the game doesn't exactly look that good. Its aesthetic is fine, but then when you actually take a look at a lot of the textures and how it's presented, it's all style and no substance. And even if we could ignore that, there's an unfortunate nagging thing you're forced to do over and over again, and that's called an execution, where you get in up close to some civilian or victim that you've got completely at your mercy, and you pull off an animation like you just saw. That's the only way you get back any sort of health, and you have to do it over and over and over again because the game is ball-bustingly hard, meaning that you have to watch those animations again, and again, whether you like to or not. And the problem is that the entire game isn't over the top enough or satirical enough for you to not sort of disregard its level of violence. It isn't like Mortal Kombat, which is so ridiculous and over the top in how it's presented. I mean, a guy's intestines can be magicked out of his mouth. This is on a different type of level. It's not Story of Ricky levels of ridiculous blood and gore that would allow you to move past it because you know this sort of thing can't happen in real life. It's because this kind of thing does happen in real life, and because people do die this way in real life and do kill each other in real life, that all of the executions and the violence come off as hitting far too close to home and not nearly over the top enough to be forgiven. There's not to mention the fact that it's far too easy to die, especially if you get in a car. If you so much as bump into anything, the frickin' car explodes. Oh, and if you kick a car over and over again, somehow you destroy it in like 6 kicks. Yeah, because that's so realistic. So the controls are terrible, you're constantly dying, the difficulty is ridiculous, you have to endure execution after execution just to get your health back, and yeah, you can turn them off, but it doesn't change the fact that it forces you to keep. It's incredibly repetitive, and the ending is a bucket of balls. Oh yeah, the only good thing I can say about it is that finally, somehow, after hours of this guy killing people, the army finally shows up and kills him just as he blows up a nuclear plant that somehow causes a nuclear explosion. That's not how it works. So you can't even hide behind any kind of realistic edge to it. So it's not funny. The dialogue is painful. So the plot sucks, the dialogue is terrible, it's not funny enough to be over the top and satirical to make you excuse the violence is presented too close to home, basic game performs terribly, it doesn't look very good, it's style over substance, and it can rot in hell! Fuck this game.